Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz, and I want to talk to you about creating shortcuts to items in a folder. I'm going to come right here and double click on the 2009 projects folder. And when we get in there, we're going to see that there's a document called Tony Was Here. Well, if I click on that document once just to select it, and then while still on it, click on the right mouse button, I'm going to see I have a few options here. One of those options is called Create Shortcut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create Shortcut, and you are going to see that a shortcut has been created right here. It says Shortcut to Tony Was Here. Now, this obviously doesn't help me that much because the shortcut's in the folder where the document is. So that doesn't really help me. But let's say I came to this document all the time. Well, I might want to create a shortcut on my desktop. So the way I just did it, again, by right-clicking on the document and then going down to where it says Create Shortcut, I actually took that shortcut and put it in the same folder. So what I can do now is, because I obviously want to get this to the desktop, I can click on that shortcut and drag it over to the right and release. And now what I've done is I've placed it on the desktop of my computer. So instead of having to come in here, I can just simply double click on that shortcut and it will open up that document. Let me close this because I want to get out of it to show you another way I can do this. Earlier I had talked about multiple folders, and in this particular case we have folders within folders within folders. To illustrate that, I want to dig down a little bit to show you a folder inside a folder inside a folder. I'm going to double click on the 2009 projects, and when I get in there we're going to see another folder called Tony's Projects. When we get inside here, we're going to see another folder called 2009 Projects, and I'm going to double click. I'm going to see now Tony 1, double click on that. Tony 2, double click on the last one, and that's Tony 3, and there's nothing inside here. So because I'm inside the Tony 3 folder, which is inside the Tony 2 folder, inside the Tony 1 folder, inside the 2009 projects, inside the Tony's projects folder, inside the the 2009 projects, which resides on the desktop, I have to do a lot of digging to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shortcut to the Tony 3 folder. I'm going to go up one level. And what that's really doing is getting me out of the Tony 3 folder, and now I can see the folder sitting right there. Well, again, I can right click on this and I can create a shortcut, but that shortcut will be inside this folder. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go to where it says Send To, and I'll have a couple options pop out to my right. I'm going to go down and choose Desktop, Create Shortcut. And this is the preferred method if you're trying to create a shortcut on your desktop. Don't choose Create Shortcut, just choose Send To and then Desktop, and if I click on this, what it's going to do, it's going to create a shortcut automatically on my desktop. There it is right there. So if I want to get inside the Tony 3 folder, instead of having to go through all those steps, I can just simply double click on this and it will take me right inside that folder. So a lot of times if I am working with folders and I've got things buried within other things, within other things, within other things, but if I'm always going back to that spot, I'll simply create a shortcut. So to illustrate that again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. I'm going to go into the 2009 projects, and whatever it is I see first, even if it's a Word document, I'm going to right click on it, and then I'm going to go to Send To, Desktop, Create Shortcut. And that is the quickest and most efficient way to get a shortcut right on your desktop. If you observe this, you'll see it says Shortcut to Tony Was Here. It says number 2. That's because I have another one over here. I'd already made one. Instead of duplicating it, it just calls it number 2. So as you start working with shortcuts, it can be quite convenient. What I'll ultimately do is when I get done with this, I will ultimately take everything and drag it into the My Documents folder to get it off the desktop. Because if you keep saving things on the desktop, it just gets cumbersome and there's so much stuff there, you'll find it awkward to work with. My name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you for attending this tutorial.